Hi, I'm Kyle, and on this episode of the MWA podcast, Sean and I are asking Alex Peay the 5 questions. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out his interview on episode 547. So welcome back to the show, Alex.
How are you doing?
Great.
Thank you.
Well, before we get into the 5 questions with Alex, let's dip our toes in the woodworking news. So just a couple of items. The first one is Blue Spruce has what they're calling the first Western designed saw from the ground up to cut on the pull stroke, and it is a 12-inch pull saw, and it's kind of like a gent saw, but it cuts on the pull stroke, and they want $130 for it. I can get a Zona for like $12.
Right.
And it cuts on the pull stroke, and it looks it's not 12 inches long, but I think they make a longer one, and I'm pretty sure it's not $130.
So
anyway.
so a backed single-sided bladed pull saw. So it's
the first thing when I saw this, I thought this is a Zona saw.
Yeah,
and then I saw the price. I went, wait. I mean, I'm sure the handle's nice, but better, and the materials are, and they say you can sharpen it, but I'm looking at those teeth and going, do I want to mess with even sharpening those teeth?
It's 14 TPI.
Yeah.
It's 0.012 blade thickness. I mean, it's a Japanese saw. Let's be frank. I mean, it is Western built, but Japanese.
Yeah, it's just set up
design.
like a gent saw. Yeah.
Yeah, but with a gent handle.
Yeah.
I think they're putting a lot into the aesthetics, and not so much into.
I mean, it's a beautiful looking saw.
It really looks good. I think 12 inches is kind of striking. Like, I don't know that most pull saws have to be that long. If you're in the full stroke, I mean, you're not putting weight into it. You don't need that long distant D8 kind of rick through it. You can just go, like it's a quick cutting, fine, gap blade. And I'm with you. The price is a bit, and that's a sale price. I don't know what the not sale price would be at $130. That's it's interesting.
It's interesting. Anyway,
very interesting. I love Blue Spruce. I think they always do beautiful work. And yes, their handles have been probably always their marquee. Leveraging a little bit on that. Interesting. Let's see. I want to see it in wild. I want to see somebody have it. Compare it to in less expensive tool.
Standard Suzuki saw,
a standard,
or like I said, like a Zona saw.
Yeah, looking at what 155, not on sale.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, so and it what is it?
Yeah.
How does it compare? It's not like not a one pull cut. It's not. That's Roy's 30-inch dovetail saw. He can get through a dovetail joint in one big stroke. This is it's somewhere in between, and I don't know. Need more information. I want to see it. We need a handworks so I can see this.
I will say their website's nice. All their pictures kind of rotate and shimmer.
Yeah. Good web design.
Good web design. Anyway,
that's worth the price of admission.
Speaking of the price of admission, Festool has a new air filter system out. So it's kind of like one of those room air cleaner type things, except this is in a sustainer form, and it's portable, and it all depends. They got 2 versions. They got their standard version, which is I think $7.99, and then their HEPA version, which I think the only difference between the 2 versions is the filters that it comes with.
Filter in it.
Yeah, so you could make the standard version to a HEPA if you wanted to, and the HEPA version is $8.99, so $900, and it's like 400 CFM. So I think they are saying it will clear a 600 square foot in 3 times an hour, so which is not bad. And there's a lot of these, what I want to say, portable air cleaners out there. Yeah, Jet has one that looks nice. It's around the same price range, but I think it's more of one you can move around. It's not, I would say, portable. It's going to stay in one shop. You can move it from station to station, and it's a little bit cheaper, but I think it moves like 600 CFM. I'm not sure if it's HEPA or not. And I know Powermatic has one that looks pretty good that I think came out at exorbitant price, but I think it's more reasonable these days.
Yeah.
So that might be another one to look at if you're in the market for these things. But I think it's kind of cool. Especially, like I said, I just mentioned this to kind of get into this topic of conversation. But from the Festool perspective, if you're a contractor that is in the Festool system, this makes perfect sense to take this on the job site. It's going to, pack with all your other stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it's, like I said, it's not exorbitantly expensive compared to, other similar things out there on the market. Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I grew up and worked in the trade of framing and finishing. And Festool was like a foreign concept to the market I was in. It just wasn't something you saw. And I learned about it, and it was like, wow, all that stuff is way more expensive than what we were using. Now, we never had anything about air cleaning or dust filtering or anything on a job site. So that's an improvement in depending. And they show one image where it's got like a big duct, evacuating a basement, as they exhaust. Like, so this probably has more opportunity for use and just a varied, job site kind of situations. I kind of focus on like woodworking, but I mean, I'm sure like concrete work and other things, like this thing probably can filter air no matter what you're doing in some capacity. That being said, $800-900, it's a fair investment for your small contractor.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be more your larger contractors. I think there's something I saw on one of DIY YouTube channels I watch. I forgot what the industry term is, but it was something like remodeling in place, where anyway you remodel a house but you let the occupants still live there. It's all about keeping everything clean, and that kind of stuff. So and I think people that are engaged in that type of work are probably in the Festool system.
I've done rooms like that. I've never done a house like that. I do have right now. I helped a guy across from the street get his work van out of snow-laden, barely a driveway, because a woman across the street passed away, and he is completely flipping it to live there. He's not like going to sell it, but they gutted it to the bones and added on to the back. And it's been months and months of them at all hours. Truly impressed by waking up and seeing lights on in this thing, no matter what day it is. It's this younger kid. He's a union carpenter, and he's doing work with him and his dad and a buddy, and they're doing everything. New septic system, new addition on back, like amazing. Not living in it yet, because it is wholly uninhabitable. I've seen when he had lights on at night, I could see straight through it. Like there's no walls, there's nothing. It's just
wow,
bare bones. Kind of crazy, but anyway, that's not related. But like I see the use of it. And if it wasn't terrible, if it was half the price, I would think, Kyle, you would have something like this, in your shop when you have giant.
Well, I looked at the Jet, which is like a little canister thing. It's like a cylinder that's, I don't know, 35 inches tall or something like that. And I think it's like about $600-700, something like that. And I think the little Powermatic that looks like a fan is somewhere a little bit around that same price range.
And compare that to the ceiling mount.
Yeah, Alex is nodding at me. I think he's looked at these before.
Yeah.
I don't know what this one, but I can't remember the one that I have in my shop here. But like just making that leap to like introducing air filtration into your shop. It's such a huge difference.
Yeah, better than the box fan with a filter on it.
Oh yes, I've done that.
Oh yeah. But like this compared to, and portability is a huge thing, but and I can think of the Jet, hang on your ceiling.
The Jet I'm talking about is not the hang on your ceiling one. It's more of a
that's a functional
floor standard.
This is doing a little more ground level work.
Is that the one you have, Alex, or do you have
the one that I have is supposed to hang from the ceiling? It doesn't, because I'm worried about the ceiling integrity.
Okay.
All right.
And so they make two. This is the bigger of the two that I have. And the only thing I don't like about it is that it takes a weird filter. It's like it's 2-stage, and so
Yeah.
it has like just your regular like AC filter, but it's a 2-inch, which is done so that you try and buy it from Jet. They want you to buy their.
Oh, sure.
Obviously, I mean, you can find off-brand filters. It's just you basically got to go to a store and say, hey, will you carry this for me, and I will buy it from you. But that's the only thing that I didn't like about this thing. But it's just heavy. But it does literally when I get done with the angle grinder and I get the vacuum out, I vacuum up what I can see, put my filter mask on, and get the leaf blower out, turn that thing on, and it clears the room in 2 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the Festool one though, like absolutely, and I can see that I'm working in a bedroom,
Right.
and I'm trying to keep this clean for what I'm doing.
Yeah. I just pulled up this Jet one, so it's called the AFS 850.
Sure it is.
850 CFMs, and it's $700.
Okay, so they're in the market.
It's
They're
like I
absolutely
said,
right
it's like a little. How tall is this thing? It's like a cylinder. I want to say like a itty bitty hot water heater, looking thing. But let's see, how big is this thing? I'm just curious about. Yeah, so it's like 36 inches high and like 20 inches in diameter.
Yeah. And that's the looking at it pulls in from all different directions.
Yeah.
So nice surface area that it's gonna pull stuff in at.
Yeah, and it's got some sort of ring thing where you can drag it around your shop, which is interesting. I don't know why they just didn't put some wheels on it or something, but anyway.
When I need another thing to drag around my shop.
Exactly.
But anyway, so if you're in the market for an air filtration system, you might want to take a look at this Festool if you're in the Festool family. If not, if you haven't drank that green Kool-Aid, then there are some other options out there. But like I said,
green Kool-Aid for you, Kyle, Sean.
Yeah.
Yes. I drank it early and I've quit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got all the stuff I needed. I got the dust extractor, the track saw, the domino, the sanders, and then I stopped.
I'm proud to say the only piece I have is a random orbital sander.
Yeah.
5-inch random orbital sander that they sold. It was $100.
Okay.
I forget when it came out. It was a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, you got it on that special like sale when they were upgrading them or something.
And I absolutely love it. I had a Bosch, before that, and it is far superior. It's much better. But I'm glad I got it at a deal, and it is the only piece of green I have.
That is for like I did domino, sanders, dust collector, track saw.
Yeah.
And then I quit. It's kind of like with woodpecker's tools for me too. It's like I got all the squares that I need, straight rules, all the stuff, and their exact 90 sled for your table saw. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't need anything.
Yeah. It is kind of an off week. We didn't have any of the woodpeckers in the woodworking news for products. They come up a lot. And I did notice that you had quite the collection of red in some of your Instagram photos. So
yes, I do. There's one that I want, and it's the dovetail one that helps you. It's like the dovetail marker.
Sure.
Like if I was going to get any one thing after that, I would be done. I'm glad I made the investment when I did. But it's like, it just hurts. Same with and it's phenomenal, made in the USA, all that. And you have to find that time to make that investment, and then now I'm done.
Yeah. Well, we go about 50-50 with woodpeckers.
Absolutely.
Some stuff is fantastic. Other stuff, I'm like,
I don't understand some of it.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing here?
It's neat. It's one of those things like, they made it because they can, and
not because they need to.
Yeah, that someone will buy it, which like the one-time tool where they get to do that, it comes out and then they quit making it. But it's like I think I do just fine with like corner shaping with my block plane. You know,
yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, before we move on to the 5 questions, let's thank our patrons. So who do we have to thank this week?
For sure. You know, we give those shout outs to our Patreon supporters today. That shout out goes to our friend Kevin McMahon. Kevin, thank you for your support, sir.
Yes.
And if you would like to join Kevin, dear listener, you can help us out by going to patreon.com/MWA podcast.
All righty. Well, let's move on to the 5 questions. So, first question for you, Alex. What's your favorite tool? And as always, our limit is 23.
23 favorite tools.
Hey.
So
place.
My favorite tool is a card scraper.
Okay.
And so I was introduced to card scrapers much later into like woodworking, and I'll say that there is a tool that goes with the card scraper. What's the sharpener tool that?
The AccuBurr.
Yes,
Yeah.
the burr. I will say the card scraper is my favorite tool, coupled with the AccuBurr.
Sure.
And once I kind of got on the card scraper train, it's like, oh my gosh, what was I doing with? I mean, worrying about my tear out, marking all my grain directions on all my flat work to make sure when I'm doing the hand plane, I'm not going to tear something out. But it's just such a versatile tool, but because it had been historically hard to sharpen in a way to make it effective, which I think AccuBurr solved fairly eloquently.
Yes.
Then it is my favorite tool in the shop when I'm looking for. I mean, I shape with it. When it comes to, I do all my carving with my angle grinder, whether I'm using the flat disc or my Arbortech. The last thing that I do is come through with that card scraper, and I do not have to start sanding at 80.
No, exactly. It takes a lot of that away, for sure.
And so for that reason, the very unsung hero in terms of tools. It is not glamorous, not at all.
Yeah. Nope.
It's a flat piece of sheet metal, and you sharpen it, and then not when most people think sharp, they're thinking sharp. It's good.
Yeah. It's not chisel sharp. It's square with a burr.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like once I kind of went down that road, it was like, oh my God, it opened a bunch of different doors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you using one that's slightly curved?
So I use a couple different ones, and so I do use the weird looking one. It's like it's like teardrop.
What a teardrop with a question mark?
Yeah, and
like the French curved card scraper.
But I also grind my own.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay,
very nice.
Good.
And so it just is easy to take it over to the bench grinder and put your file on it and sharpen it, and to get into all those little spots in the seat to smooth that out. And you're going uphill, downhill grain, and it's just and I forget, like Blake Lowry was showing me some little plane that he uses to scoop like his seats that he makes, and he's like, you got to get one of these, and he told me where to get it, and I haven't bought one yet.
So one of the Japanese.
So it was from a Windsor company where it's curved.
Yep.
And it has like a brass bottom. There's plastic bottoms too, but it's like
yeah. It's a Scorp. It's a Travisher, but it works more like a Scorp. Yeah, those are the ones by the Windsor Workshop. Yeah, I have one, and those are great. The black one with the brass one that has the Durlon things. Yeah, I used to use a Scorp to saddle my, to get started, saddle my seats. But yeah, I use that set to heavy.
Yeah.
And I've never tried it on the fine setting because I have the other Travishers that do that. I just keep that one set heavy and just use that. But I've heard it does pretty well in the fine settings. I've just never tried it.
And that's what I like about that AccuBurr is that you get the 3 different sharpening settings. You got
degrees
coarse, medium, and
curve.
fine.
Yeah.
So, and because card scrapers are cheap, you can have multiple ones and multiple different profiles, and that's what I use for that. It just
and this tool won't take the place of your card scraper. It'll just help you a little bit on some of the saddling. Yeah.
And I don't like a lot of people will ask me like if I drill holes, like how do you control your depth? Like when you're doing.
Yeah, I do drill holes, but I usually only drill a couple of them just to set the maximum depth, and then I just go by fill. And then, I'll occasionally have the seat clamped to the bench, and I'll just hop up on the seat and say, "Hey, how's this feel?"
Yeah.
Okay.
But because it doesn't matter if it's rough or not, your butt's not going to know the difference.
No.
Yeah, the only reason for smoothing it is to make it look nice.
That's exactly right. See, I don't drill holes when I'm doing it. It's strictly eye. Plus, I'm not skilled enough. Even if I drilled the hole, I can guarantee you that I would go under it. But
go through it. Yeah,
that's how it's hand to feel it, and that's
good for you. I was going to ask you how you treat the edges of your scrapers, but you answered it with the AccuBurr, because when I first got a scraper, AccuBurr didn't exist, and so that was a file and a hardened rod, held at a particular angle to hone that edge over. I was okay at that. I don't have an AccuBurr. It's kind of on the maybe someday list. It sounds like it might be a game changer.
It is, because I've sharpened when I got introduced to card scrapers. I was like, this is great, until I had to sharpen it, and so there's some definite like skill and nuance to sharpening a card scraper with a file, and doing all that. But then seeing that AccuBurr, and I was like, it's there's you'll find the best way to sharpen your card scraper video on YouTube.
Of course.
All different.
You'll find 1,000 of them.
Oh, absolutely. And so I still do use some stuff from that to take the burr off when I'm resharpening it. But using that AccuBurr and just the couple of swipes, oh man, it's just it is a game changer.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. All right, so next question then. Let's keep it rolling. Who has influenced you the most in your woodwork?
I would say that Sam Malouf and George Nakashima come out the most in my woodworking, and you can see that in the chairs, but also that feels like my personal aesthetic of what I like, and looking at what they did, and just how innovative it was. Like that conoid chair from Nakashima is just like, there's nothing else out there quite like it. I can, like, my cousin introduced me to it, and when I saw the picture of it, I was like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. And it was just and I think that with the Malouf rocker the same way, that I'd never seen anything like it, and it really it gets that creativity flowing for me. And so for me and how I woodwork, trying to emulate it, but not being like good enough to emulate it, and so you get some version of it, and then in turn trying to make that into your own. As a I really like this style. I want to see that if I can do this. But then within your own skill and tooling, you find a way to make it your own, or I really like these lines, or I like this little detail that I put in it as well. It's almost kind of like is it Daryl Pert that does the green and green,
right?
And where it's green and green, but it's not green and green. It's him. And so that's kind of what I try and take from these people that have influenced me. My cousin Todd and the pipes that he makes. Like I find all that incredibly inspiring. And so, you know, he's actually been, although we make very different things, you know, his story into how he got into pipe making and what he's achieved through it, it just goes to show that you don't have to have provenance or have trained with absolutely the best. It is, now that doesn't hurt, definitely doesn't, but just that if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to put in the time, that you can achieve the things that you set out to achieve. And watching his trajectory and what he's done in the pipe making world is definitely something that inspires.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I can understand that. I don't see how they work with some of those burls and stuff that they do. Wow.
So it's wild how they do it. And I actually have a setup. I've made a few pipes. They're terrible. But the way that he shapes them is with it's a 3 horsepower motor that has an arbor attached to it that he puts a like 40 grit flat disc, or not, it's not a flat disc, it's just like a 40 grit sanding disc on it. And he has them mounted against the wall, and he sits in a chair and he literally shoves that burl into this thing just at, you know, Mach 3 rotating. And it is impressive and he does it differently than others. A lot of people use the bandsaw, but he turns everything into dust. And the reason for that is inclusion. And so you know when to chase an inclusion and when not to. And so if you've cut into one, you don't know if you're on the front side or the back side or right in the middle. But as he turns the entire thing into dust, he knows, because like the grading system for making pipes is wild, but it's like I find it incredibly fascinating. That's definitely on my docket of some stuff that I wanna try.
Cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Well, so what is your white whale? The one thing you haven't made but always wanted to?
It's gonna be that Maloof rocker.
Maloof rocker, yeah.
And I've, you know, as heavily influenced my work is from Sam Maloof, I've never cut a Maloof joint.
You decided to do the hardest joint. Yeah, much more difficult joint.
Yeah, and so
they find it accessible and easy.
Yeah, and so like in theory, I know how to do it. But it is you know, making that Maloof rocker. There's everything about that I love. It's like it's gothic and huge and just you know, it flows, and I love it. I just have that's the one thing that I want to make. It's one of those things that you know, I want to make one of those, but I think I should make a chair first. And that's kind of how I got into the making a chair, is that I can't make a rocking chair if I have not first made a chair.
Yeah, flat feet first.
Yes.
Then rock.
Yes. And so, but that definitely has to be up there. And then, so I don't know if on the rotating dovetail, there's a guy on Instagram. He's like Scotty Woodworking, I think is his name. But he's done this Maloof joint, or not the Maloof joint, this rotating dovetail backwards that I have. Have you guys seen this?
No.
Okay. He basically is using it so his chair stretcher has the tail on the end of it. What? No. But he actually makes it to where the stretcher enters the leg. But on the end of the tail, he has curved it, and so that it rotates all the way around the joint.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And so he's made this like sideways.
But then you got to expose dovetail when you curve it around, right, or something, or exposed channel. Yeah.
So he does have an exposed where it enters.
Yeah.
But that's the corner of his chair. But so the reason that he's done this is so that he can cut all of his stretchers exactly the same. He doesn't have to worry about the angle that he cuts his stretcher, because he can make the front of his seat wider than the back, but he doesn't have to worry about that angle that he needs. And so this thing rotates around it.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting.
Scotty Woodworker, and the little thing that he built, it's a router that he has on like a swivel, and he cuts this thing, but it's pretty neat. Talking about that reminded me of their. I've never cut a Maloof joint. He's never cut a rotating dovetail except for the one that he created. The spin that he put on it, which is like it's super neat. You definitely check that out.
I'll check that out. Yeah, that sounds cool. Sounds cool.
Absolutely. So next question then. What is your number one tip for fellow woodworkers? Sounds like you might have a few.
My number one tip for fellow woodworkers, and because I'd still consider myself a fairly new woodworker, would be where I went to find how to learn how to woodwork was YouTube. And when you look on YouTube, you're going to see shops that are ridiculous, that have every bit of festool, that had every bit of woodpecker, that have every saw stop, all of your different stuff. And you're thinking, like, I can never get it. I can't do that because I don't have that, which is not true.
And you got to remember, most of these people are semi-sponsored by those companies.
Yes, exactly. And so, as inspiring as it is, I know for some people that it is kind of disheartening. And so, my number one tip then is buy the best tools that you can afford at the time. So when you're looking at getting into woodworking, or you're looking for that next tool, or this is going to help me do, I think this is going to help me do what I want to do, buy the best that you can afford. There's no doubt that great tools are great tools for a reason. They're joy to work with, but there's no reason to overspend to say that I have to have this piece of festool is going to make me a phenomenal woodworker. No, it's not. The time and effort that you put into the craft, that is what's going to make you a great woodworker. The learning how to use the tools that you own, that is going to make you a great woodworker. You don't need the latest and greatest to do great things. And I think that I'm part of the Houston Woodworking Club, and we get people at every meeting that is like, hey, I'm here because I want to get into woodworking, and I don't know anything about it. And so my favorite workbench, my Rubo is my favorite workbench, but my pallet wood workbench that I made is made all out of pallet wood. The leg vise is made from a scaffolding jack. Those are pretty cheap. I think like $40, $50. I have a wagon vise on here that I made from a screw that I took out of an old Craftsman benchtop vise. And so every element that my Rubo has with my bench crafted hardware on it, I can achieve through stuff that I didn't pay any money for. The pallets, the scaffolding jacks, I bought two actually. The first one I made into a tap. So I literally have like a 2-foot tap that has Acme threads on it.
Wow.
And that's how I tapped the leg so I could put the other screw into it. And so like all told, for what I spent on this workbench that will do everything that my Rubo will do, $200.
Yeah, that's wild.
And so, if you're willing to did it take me a lot of time to take the pallets apart? Yes. Did it suck? Absolutely. Would I do it again? No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it again. But at my time and my trajectory it was the perfect thing at the moment. So, you can grab inspiration from those out there that are doing this awesome work, but it's okay to make cutting boards. It's okay to make whatever makes you happy. You don't have to be building these huge built-ins or just these extravagant pieces of furniture to enjoy woodworking.
Absolutely.
And so I think that is my number one tip, and it goes to the don't pay attention to what other people are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, don't compare yourself.
Don't compare. Yeah.
Absolutely pay attention to what they're doing, but don't compare yourself against it, because you can't. You have your own path. Take your path, however fast, however slow. If I had started out and was like, I'm gonna make this Doberman chair, it would have not been fun, not at all. But what was fun was, I would set up my planer out in the driveway and just put dust everywhere. My neighbor was just like, and I'm just like rolling through board feet of through this planer. But that was fun for me. And then when I was like, okay, I want to do something else, well, then I moved on to the next thing that I thought that I could achieve. And I think it's also important that, like you say, what's that white whale? That Maloof rocker is my white whale of something, but I knew I couldn't start there. So I started with something that was achievable, that pushed my skills so that I could learn something. I try and integrate something that I've never done into each project so that I can constantly be moving forward. I would never make it as just like, I give it to the people that make cutting boards and do all this awesome fancy stuff. No, thank you. Too repetitive for me. I need the challenge. I need the inspiration. I just can't do the same thing over and over again.
You like the problem solving.
Absolutely. That is one of my favorite the most time that I spend in my shop is sitting in my chair, looking at what I'm building and thinking about how I'm going to solve whatever problem that I've created for myself.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I think that hopefully I answered that well.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Yes. So, what is your go-to finish?
I use Rubio Monocoat, the pure. But I really like Watco's T-Cool as well.
Okay.
Just put it on, wipe it off. It depends on what I'm building. But if I don't want to ventilate the shop, then I'm using the Rubio.
Yeah.
But I really like what the Watco T-Coil does as well. That's what my Conoid chairs that I've made, those are all finished in that. A lot of the chairs that I do is finished in that. But I do like the ease of a hard wax furniture. Just wipe on, wipe off. I don't spray anything. But I don't care for urethanes at all. And this comes from my hardware experience. The number of people that walk in and show me this piece of furniture where the urethane's chipping on it, and they ask me how they can fix it. And they have to tell them what they have to do in order to fix that. Is why I gravitate towards those oil finishes, because for that end user, they are going to find themselves in a place where it's like, I need to fix that. And just being able to, little sand, rub a little bit more oil on it and call it good, versus sanding the entire thing down, knowing how to sand between coats of urethane, rubbing out a lacquer finish or something like that. So that's why I lean.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense.
How about you guys? Kyle?
Oh, I will. I almost was going to mention this and I decided not to, but I will anyway. So this is my non-sponsored pitch for Sutherland Wells, their botanical line. It's Sutherland, Suther land, WELLES, Sutherland Wells, and they have a botanical line of tongue oil finishes, polymerized tongue oil that is absolutely fantastic. And it's low VOCs. And the trick with it, it's not cheap, but they sell a citrus solvent for it.
Okay.
So you can buy the full strength, which is a gloss finish.
Yeah.
You can cut it with that citrus solvent and get whatever sheen you want, whether it's a matte, satin, semi-gloss, or gloss. You know, gloss is full strength, but
yeah.
Anyway, and yeah, it's like I said, low VOCs, and it's, you know, you can recoat in a day. So, you know, it's not a one coat finish, but it's a nice finish.
Well,
a lot of Windsor chair makers use that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that when you say that, I've got my can of Old Masters tongue oil around here somewhere.
Yeah. No, this is genuine tongue oil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the that's what I would use. When I first started, it was that old Masters tongue oil, not the tongue oil finish.
Yeah.
That's the, I put a tongue oil finish on there.
I think David Duyard turned me on to this, and I think Peter Galbert's using it now too.
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah. And if you use if you're gonna check, if you check that out, I will put in the show notes David's discount code. I think I've done that a couple of times, but he has like a 10% off discount code.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The ease on putting a tongue oil finish on something.
Yeah. You just kind of wipe it on. Wipe off any excess, let it sit for an hour, or set for a day, recoat. It's not a fast finish, but it is a easy to apply. Yeah, I like it. So anyway, Sean, what about yourself?
I wipe on poly has always been my thing. Little general finishes back in the day.
Yep.
Nothing crazy. Actually, the stool I made came with a nice like a wax finish, which was very nice. It was a paste, in the can, but it smoothed out to just a sheen, and I could reapply it in 10 minutes. It was really, really nice. Let me find it, because it's something that Lee Valley sells, I'm sure.
Yeah, there are a couple of those low gloss wax finishes.
It's Chapman's beeswax polish.
Okay. Yep.
Chapman's. So I liked it. I mean, very small application, and the first really time doing a wax finish like that, and it's very nice.
Yeah, there's another one that I like, that it's a beeswax paste wood finish and polish made by Interstate Woodworks. Have you guys ever heard of that one?
No. I know there are a bunch of them like that. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. I think there's like a company called Bumbleshoots that makes something similar, and But
I do love a good wax finish, like Sean. It's just they buff out really nice. You get this really nice shape.
They have a nice feel to them too.
Oh
very feel. Yeah.
Strawberries.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, so Alex, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
So you can find me on my website, which is alexpayfurniture.com. Peay, last name there. You can find me on Instagram, pay.alex, and then YouTube at alexpay.
Wonderful.
And that's ALXPEAY.
Well, thank you so much.
Awesome.
And as always, we'll have links to all Alex's contact info in the show notes. And Alex, once again, thank you so much for being a part of the show. And this is truly fascinating and fun. And man, that joint, like I said on our earlier episode, is just fantastic.
Thank you guys so much. It's been such a pleasure chatting with both of you. And thanks for having me.
And that just about wraps it up for this show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on the podcatcher of your choice. Just search for the Modern Woodworkers Association. And while you're there, please leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at MWA_podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/MWA podcast. But the best thing you can do is tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way in sharing our discussion.